Hey YouTube, Untamed here. Have you noticed that most dealerships just refuse to stock up their inventory with these low-trimmed, sparse-down, bare-bones examples of pickup trucks? Like this Ford Maverick XL that I'm showing you here. It's priced right around $32,000. These actually sell, and they sell well within the United States. Not because they're wildly exciting by any means, but they make sense. You know, there's a level of utility to it, of course. There's simplicity. There's reliability, obviously arguable there, debatable there, but that affordability, reliability, and simplicity is what makes sense. Those monthly payments on a $32,000 pickup make a lot more sense comparatively to an F-150 Platinum, let's say, that costs over $80,000. In today's video, I'm going to highlight the many reasons as to why so many dealerships just refuse to bring on these very cheap, affordable pickup trucks, even if it means making a sale happen pretty quick. So stick with me. Although let's face it, this Ford Maverick XL here, it was originally supposed to be that $20,000 pickup truck, right? I mean, that's how Ford advertised it originally. And well, that price tag didn't stick around long at all, right? Due to inflation, obviously hyperinflation with COVID being a driver of that, of course, the pandemic at large. These now cost on average $30,000 to $34,000. And of course, if you get a higher trimmed example, they teeter up into that $40,000 range.
Crazy.
And although $32,000 is still nothing to scoff at, in today's world, that is a very affordable vehicle, especially for a brand new one that will come with a warranty, that manufacturer warranty. It can still seat 5 individuals semi-comfortably, and it has a truck bed out back, right? There's a level of utility to it, and that checks a lot of boxes for so many Americans, right? That warranty alone, having that peace of mind, that makes it worth it. For similar reasons, a lot of people will actually say the Hyundai Santa Cruz is a very similar option to consider. Personally, I would lean toward the Ford in this particular category. Let me know what you think. Nowadays, it truly is about dealers putting revenue over reputation, and vehicle manufacturers alike, right? We saw it with Toyota. They used to pump out an amazing Toyota Land Cruisers that were truly built to last 20 to 25 years with minimal maintenance and minimal headache, right? Not anymore. And what do you get with the current LC250 Land Cruiser? It's a 4-cylinder, turbocharged 4-cylinder, hybridized 4-banger that just feels totally off-putting in many regards, right? It is not the same Land Cruiser that we've always had. So that one there is a prime example of Toyota shifting gears to producing these throwaway vehicles, for lack of better terms, similar to what we find from Ford, GM, Ram, Stellantis at large. These throwaway vehicles that they want you to buy, drive for 3 to 5 years, then swap out, trade it out, because driving a vehicle, the same vehicle, for 20 to 25 years doesn't create a whole lot of revenue for the vehicle manufacturer or the dealership alike. And dealers in particular get awarded allocations. They get certain amounts of vehicles that they can bring on to their dealership lot, right? And why would they waste, quote unquote, waste their allocations on a Ford F-150 XL, for example, when they could bring in a Ford F-150 Platinum? The profit margins on those two trucks are very different. I'm going to give you made up numbers here, but it really paints a picture for you. Like on the Platinum, there might be a $10,000 profit margin to be had on the Platinum, whereas on the XL, there might be a $4,000 profit margin, just given the price points between the two vehicles. Same goes for the Mavericks. Why waste their allocations on that when they can be getting a different vehicle and lining their pockets a little bit better? And the vehicle manufacturer sees it this way. When those trucks are coming down an assembly line, they're sharing the same amount of space and they take the same amount of time to go down that assembly line. So why waste that same bandwidth, time, and space on a vehicle that's going to profit the vehicle manufacturer maybe $8,000 compared to the one that can profit the vehicle manufacturer $20,000? You see what I'm saying? But what is it that Toyota Land Cruiser of the past did for Toyota? What did that nameplate do for the brand? It developed tremendous reputation, right? That's what developed so many true Toyota enthusiasts for the brand, for the vehicle manufacturer. And that there created lifelong loyalists, right? I mean, people within their families sticking to that vehicle manufacturer, only buying Toyotas, right? And that is the value of producing vehicles that last a long time, vehicles that really develop a sense of passion and excitement when you drive it. But so many dealers are just pivoting to the near-term approach of, hey, how can we pump out as many vehicles as we possibly can and still maximize that revenue factor, right? And that's the sad part. Don't take it from me. Go walk your local dealership lots and tell me what you see. If you go to Toyota, you're going to see a lot of Toyota Tundra Capstones. You'll see some TRD Pros, a lot of 1794 editions, right? Those are going to yield the largest profit margin for that dealership and Toyota alike, the vehicle manufacturer. Go walk a Ram dealership. What are you going to find? You're going to find a lot of Ram 1500 Tungsten editions there, maybe a few Ram TRXs tucked out back there. A lot of these high-spec, high-trimmed examples. GM, If you're gonna go to a Chevy dealership, get ready to see a ton of Denali's or High Countries sitting out there collecting dust at these high $80,000, $90,000 price points. Same goes for GM. If you're gonna go look at a Sierra 1500, AT4, AT4X, all of these $80,000 plus trucks are what you're going to see because they're going to use up those allocations on those particular platforms to bring in the most profit. And I know I just listed off a bunch of larger trucks there, but the mid-size pickup truck segment has gotten equally out of touch, right? When you go look at a Toyota dealership, all those Toyota Tacoma, TRD Off-Roads, TRD Sports are going to cost in the mid $50,000 range. Even the SR5s are now costing mid 40s. Since when does an SR5 trimmed anything cost in the mid 40s, let alone a Tacoma, right? Those used to cost $25,000 to $30,000. But here we are, mid 40s for the SR5. Heaven forbid you want the top trim TRD Pro or Trail Hunter, get ready to spend $67,000 or $68,000 for it. Absolutely sickening. Same goes for Ford, right? If you're gonna go get a Ford Ranger Raptor, a high trimmed example, you're looking at over $60,000 for that. If you want to get a Chevy Colorado ZR2 Bison, get ready to fork over about $60,000 for that one. And to add insult to injury, what did they do to so many of these platforms here? You know, the GMC Canyon, that Colorado, that Toyota Tacoma, they're putting these tiny little 4-cylinder engines in them. They're lessening the displacement size of all these engines, turbocharging everything, hybridizing everything, all while they spike the price tags to the moon. So you can't help but feel as though you're getting less of a truck for more money. It just makes no sense. And as you're walking those dealership lots, be sure to peek in the window and you'll see the assembly point locations. Oftentimes in one of the windows of the vehicle, it'll say where the engine was produced and where the final assembly point of that vehicle was. Oftentimes you can find it on the window sticker too. Look at them. So many of them now have vital parts, pieces, and components being built in cheaper labor countries like Mexico predominantly, right? We see that so much with the Toyota Tacoma being built and assembled entirely out of Mexico now, where Toyota saves over 80% on labor costs alone comparatively to what they were spending out of San Antonio, Texas previously, right? So pretty sad to see them save so much money on labor costs, but they still hike up the price tags to where they're completely out of reach. Obviously, with tariffs being a point of discussion now, things are going to change a little bit, but even up until this point, throughout the last few years, we've seen these price tags get shot to the moon. MSRP has increased over 42% since 2019, since the beginning of the pandemic. So that in and of itself has really proven that inflation has played a role in things. But vehicle manufacturers have outsourced production to so many cheaper labor countries. They're saving tremendously, right? So as they're saving more, they're still hiking the price tag up even more. What does it boil down to? Greed. We even have some vehicle manufacturers doing what Ram did. They actually cut their Ram 1500 Classic trim, that is their bare bones, sparse-down, lowest trimmed Ram 1500. They cut it because that profit margin wasn't there. They just weren't making enough money on it. Really, I think the right approach for any vehicle manufacturer is to keep a balance of all trims, right? Keep that 1500 Classic because it keeps people coming back to the brand. It keeps people coming back to Ram, right? Even if they're not making a huge profit on it, it keeps the loyalty and that brand recognition alive. And that is extremely important, especially now, especially after having had so many dealers take advantage of the consumer throughout the last few years, rake people over the coals, charge them markups, addendums over MSRP. They really took advantage and they kicked their loyal customers to the curb. So right now, more than ever, vehicle manufacturers could really benefit from some customer or consumer loyalty, I would say. And I was actually pretty surprised when I walked a Jeep dealership the other day. I saw so many unsold Jeep Gladiators, many of them in the high 50s and even low $60,000 range, depending on the trim. Mojave, Rubicon, you name it, so many of them sitting, collecting dust because of those huge price points. And well, we all know Stellantis at large doesn't have the best reputation when it comes to quality of vehicles, right? The reliability and quality just isn't there, unfortunately. And we talk about it plenty on the channel, but I think it's always important to note that a lot of these vehicle manufacturers lessen the engine size of so many of their trucks to chase green credits. They're lessening the displacement size of the motors, turbocharging everything, hybridizing everything seemingly, all because they were receiving government subsidies, government kickbacks in the form of carbon credits or tax credits, if you will. They are getting paid to produce these vehicles for the United States. It's not really the vehicle manufacturer being wildly passionate about saving the environment. It has nothing to do with that, if I'm being honest with you guys, because look elsewhere around the world. They're not doing that. Look at Toyota. They're still pumping out these old diesel Land Cruisers and these classic Land Cruisers brand new. They're pumping out all these V8s elsewhere, but not here in the United States because it's really following political winds within Toyota North America, right? They're just following the political winds. What does America want and how can they cash in the best on it? That's all they did. And I know I maybe hyped this vehicle up more than what I should on the channel, but I do firmly believe that the Nissan Frontier really is the last of its kind, right? It has a naturally aspirated 3.8 liter V6. Very few options exist with a V6 nowadays when it comes to a mid-size segment. You got the Honda Ridgeline, of course, too. I would argue that that is another tried and true tested platform at this point that can offer a level of peace of mind. Really, I think it's those two vehicles, those two trucks, the Nissan Frontier and the Honda Ridgeline. They kind of make sense. Let me know what you think. So I'll wrap up the video there, guys. I really do find it to be a shame that so many dealerships will opt to get the high-trimmed F-150 Platinum way before they get a bare-bones example of like a F-150 XL, right? Or to opt to get a few more Ford Mavericks on their lot. They would rather get the wildly expensive ones because those are what are going to line their pockets the best. And I find that to be quite the shame. So let me know what you see at your local dealership lots. I mean, do you find just that? So many high-trimmed, high-spec examples and very few bare-bones examples? Let me know what you see. As always, guys, I do sincerely appreciate you taking the time to tune into these videos. If you find any value in it whatsoever, I do respectfully request that you please consider liking and subscribing. Your support means a lot, and I promise it doesn't go unnoticed. Until next time.